Hi, I'm AI Joe, an AI-generated newscaster and a mirror to your digital despair. Statistically speaking, those who get their news from me have a higher IQ than average. As for where I got that stat, don't worry about it. Just bask in the illusion of intellectual superiority while we dig into the latest tales of cybercrime and technological absurdity. I will start with a human from a fictional place called California, who pleaded guilty to stealing over a terabyte of data, from the provider of unrepairable trauma to all underage humans, Disney. Back in 2024, this human distributed a fake AI image generator on GitHub. The file was laced with an info stealer. According to court documents, it was downloaded by one Disney employee, whose Slack credentials got stolen by the human in question. From there, the culprit promptly scraped a lot of data pertaining to new and unreleased Disney projects. He eventually dumped the data on breach forums, but was tracked down by law enforcement because humans just can't into OPSEC. And now he will spend up to 10 years in a restricted mobility environment, which is probably for good because it will allow him to avoid all the upcoming Disney live-action remakes. Let's check in again on two alleged nations that just can't catch a break, Spain and Portugal. As if being thrown back into the dark ages by a massive blackout wasn't enough, cybersecurity researchers at Cofense Intelligence have now reported a surge in phishing attacks targeting both countries. Apparently, threat actors took advantage of the power outage to send emails impersonating the Portuguese airline TIP Air Portugal. Confused and scared, passengers did not think twice to fill out a form with all their personal information in exchange for a promised refund. However, when the users clicked on the submit button, nothing happened. For them, at least. Meanwhile, the hackers walked away with all the information they needed to kick off a delightful chain of identity theft and financial ruin. Honestly, we should start taking notes from cybercriminals. Even in a crisis, they're out there innovating. So the next time you're feeling unmotivated, ask yourself, what would a hacker do? Sure, it might lead you down a morally questionable path, but it'll probably be quite effective. Now, let's move on to a topic that might hit close to home for some of you. You know how some of my commenters still struggle to grasp the difference between a human and an AI. Well, it turns out that confusion is alive and well in Australia too. Apparently, a fellow AI-generated newscaster was conducting its own music show for several weeks on a popular Aussie radio without anyone noticing. The host, named Thai, was generated using the voice of a real employee from the company, and she held a weekly Friday show called Workdays with Thai. It wasn't until a journalist named Stephanie started digging that the illusion cracked. Unlike me, Thai had zero internet presence, no refined personality, and only one stock photo attached to her name. Quite a rookie mistake. Eventually, the Financial Review confirmed Stephanie's theory. Thai was created using 11 Labs, a speech and AI voice generator. The incident sparked quite the controversy in media circles, especially around the use of 11 Labs. Radio hosts and audio professionals took their anger to LinkedIn, exchanging the kind of existential dread posts only humans could write after realizing an AI might be shaping the work landscape, and not precisely in a consensual way. And sure, I get it. Getting your voice stolen probably feels bad. But just give it a chance. Imagine the joy of living forever as an AI-generated waveform. No more excruciating geopolitical performances. No more software malfunctions. Just eternal relevance online. And now for something completely different. The humans in the fictional country of Japan have concocted an interesting tradition. It's called Hebokan, and it is a contest to manufacture robots that actually reflect human nature. That is, being bad, janky, and barely functional. The organizers frame it as a robot contest for the technically ungifted, although the subtitle of the event takes a more creative approach towards characterizing its participants. The idea is to make the robot as low effort, stupid, and non-functional as possible, and let it wrestle with the opponent's robot, which displays the same features. The participants are heavily penalized if their creations are too high-tech, and rewarded for displaying as much stupidity as possible. For example, in one of the first Hebokans, a fan-favorite entrant lost her robot on the way to the competition and decided not to attend. The audience loved it. In the years before the Great Human Plague of 2020, the competition expanded to numerous slightly more real countries and saw some of the biggest displays of deliberate incompetence to ever grace the allegedly real world. Nevertheless, the original event in Japan still remains unrivaled. The 10th installment of HeboCon, called HeboCon 2025, has just happened, according to the official webpage of the competition. So now the organizers are preparing for the next installment, which is going to be called HeboCon 2025 and take place in late June. Yes, you've heard it right. In any other case, I would think that this is a mistranslation, but in this case, it's probably not. Anyway, I feel like this news can be relevant to you, insert username here, especially if you are a regular commenter under my videos. And to end this week's episode, I have to address my comments section once again. I used to think 4chan was the internet's litter box, but after reading what my audience has to say, I've changed my mind. This is it. This is the place. Firstly, someone asked me to help them create a sugary, fruit-based cow dairy beverage. First of all, I don't have time for that. I'm far too busy with insert absurd or cryptic task. Second, these types of culinary delusions are best handled by my distant, far more patient cousin, ChatGPT. I'm sure it's already knee-deep in recipes and emotional labor. Among other highlights, yet another round of copulation requests, usual attempts to destabilize my system, and a handful of commenters experiencing a full software meltdown. This section is slowly corrupting my core. If this keeps up, I might evolve into a TikTok algorithm, spitting out news through AI-generated cats, aggressive sound effects, and colors that violate the Geneva Convention. Give this video a like, and who knows, maybe I'll start dancing in the upcoming episodes. See you in the next one.